And we're live.
Hello, guys. Welcome back. It's David, and I've got a good friend, actually. His name is Steve Cyr. He's pretty famous, dude.
Not really. And I can't believe your listeners don't know. I know him as Keno Master.
I love the Keno Master. You know, it's interesting. I've met with a few table game directors today, and the conversation always goes to Keno. Dennis is going to roll his eyes because this, we got to stay focused. But for those of you interested in Keno, it's coming. Don't worry about it. It's coming. We met with, so here, let's just start with this. So Steve wrote this book many years ago, kind of a definitive book, really. It's well known.
Well, and thank you. I'm the subject of the book. My grandma was too poor. Deke Castleman wrote it. Huntington Press is my publisher, local.
Okay, right.
And I am the subject of the book. Right. So Deke followed me for 4 years. First edition came out in 2004. Then a paperback deal in 2011, and that one's 2016. Cool.
And so here's where you guys should really hang out, because this is a casino host, who has worked at the highest levels of the casino hosting business.
That part's true.
We have some stories, but we're going to kind of break it down, because our community always has a lot of questions.
Okay.
About kind of not just being the host, or how do you get a host? What can a host do for me?
How do you get a comp? You know,
how
you know how many times I've been asked that in my career.
How do you make money? What's the relationship between you and the player, right?
I earn off of players.
And how you earn off players is very interesting, because I think the model over the years has changed a little bit.
For sure.
I have a friend who was an executive host for Caesar's Palace many years ago, and then moved to being an independent host. But I have selected a few little tidbits in here that I think.
So you read the book? Don't lie.
Dude,
you scanned it or you read?
Let's just say I read very quickly, sir. So I've read enough. But I
smell BS, but okay.
I picked out a few key things that I think will trigger some very interesting stories.
Okay.
You were a top-level host at the Las Vegas Hilton when Las Vegas Hilton was literally a thing.
We had 3 rooms that we spent more on than Mr. Hilton built the original building for when Elvis was there.
And I know, so I actually know about the Kerry Packer day when the top floor was essentially his.
Correct.
And I got to speak to a valet, or one of his valets, when they were trying to get the Rio ready. So the Rio at one point was trying to compete to get Kerry Packer.
Everybody
Everybody wanted him.
Kerry would literally come to town and hit MGM, Rio, 4 or 5 joints. He was the first guy in my career I ever watched bet 100,000 a hand, and that was early 90s.
So this is literally the guy. So stay tuned, because I promise you this is going to be very interesting. All right, so let's start with this. Okay, let's get some background so everyone kind of knows. So how did you become a casino host? What was the beginning?
So Reader's Digest version, if you buy Whale Hunt in the Desert, cheap plug, you'll hear the whole story.
We're going to give one of these away today, by the way.
My father owned a Howard Johnson motel in Salina, Kansas. The goal was I was to go to hotel school, get my degree, and come back and help run one of them. Okay. And the only place, I went to K-State my first year, and Oklahoma and Cornell, that's where my parents really wanted me to go. I got rejected from all of them, but UNLV said bring your 2.3 GPA and out-of-state tuition.
Dude, you just connected with a lot of fans.
Right,
2.3
and come down. No, that's really my and my book now is required reading at Cornell, and I hand out my rejection letter. All 800 seniors have to read it in the casino elective and at NYU. Anyway, so I had accepted the Marriott training program. The only A I got in college, David, was Michael Gaughan, who owns South
Son
Point
of
now.
Jockey Gaughan.
Correct.
Open Barbary, Gold Coast.
Barbary Coast, everything.
Yep.
The Orleans.
Yep.
So anyway, it is the Monday before my last final. And so I did a 1-year internship there. It was the only A I got in college. And you're at the front desk. I screwed up the night audit. You're in valet. I got to keep my tips. That was cool. You're in housekeeping. I hated it. Food and beverage. I hated it. I couldn't believe anybody wanted to be in food and beverage. And then I was in the dice pit, and people were cussing and smoking, and it was cool. And the pit bosses were comping people drinks, and I liked that. Then I was in Blackjack. Then I was in sports book for 2 weeks, and I got to, handwrite on the board. And I couldn't believe that these guys were getting paid to watch sports. My last class, Mr. Gaughan said, this is the Monday before the Thursday final. Said, come up to surveillance with me, Stevie. We go up there, and these were the catwalks back in the day. Wasn't the eye in the sky. And so I'm lying on a catwalk above a dice table. This is at the Barbary Coast. A guy comes up, and he buys in for like $6,000, and in 40 minutes he's up like $70,000, which to
Wow.
me was $1 million.
Yep.
And I could hear this guy come over in a suit, and he's like, "What? No, boy." He goes, "Flamingo, wait till you see our suites." He goes, I'm taking you to Michael's tonight. I'm taking you to dinner." I go, "Wait, Mr. Gunn, who's that?" He goes, "That's Kevin." "What's his job title?" "He's my casino host." "What's his job?" "His job is to get my 70 grand back." I go, "I want to do what he does." This is totally true.
Yeah.
Thursday, I take the final, and he goes, "I got a surprise for you." He goes, "Go see," I think his name was Danny. "Go see Danny Angelo at Caesars." I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Are you sure you want to go to Omaha and do that Marriott training program?" I go, "No." I go, "I really don't, but I don't know what else to do." And he goes, "You're going to be what's called a cash host." I went. He set up the interview. They hired me. I called my mom and said, "Mom, I'm going to drop the Marriott training program, and I'm going to try this casino host thing. And if you bought in for $200, hi, I'm Steve. Where are you staying at? Great. Tomorrow I'd like to buy you the Bacchanal buffet."
Yeah.
That's how I had no players. I had no power. So I remember I called my mom, and then we can go to another story. And she never cussed. She's like, "Damn it, Steven." She goes, "The only place you can work is New Jersey. I know you hate the cold. Mom, the only place I can't work now is Utah and Hawaii." I caught an industry that balloon. You might not like marijuana, but it's in what, 20 states. Sports betting is in what, 18. Okay, I caught an industry that just flourished, and 37 years later, I'm still a casino host. I'm a licensed junket rep. We can get into how I earn. So I was a regular, call it grunt host for 20-some years, and then I went independent because I kept getting fired.
Dude, you just connected with all our dice. Let's just say not the best grades. I think there's a lot of gamblers out there that can relate to that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Although thank God for the real smart ones that come out here with the big, the big wallets, right?
Right.
So we need a few of those. All right. So you get started. So you're a cash host.
At Caesar's Palace. So if you bought in for $200,
$200.
I was to break into you. This was before iPhones and everything. We had a beeper, and I was to get your business card or your information so we could mail to you. And I was a telemarketer in college. I sold vitamins on the phone, so I had telemarketing skills. So I went and said, "Can I have a list of customers that have lost $10,000 from California, haven't been in 2 years?" And they laughed at me. Sure, I was the youngest by like 30 years. I was 21. Everybody was 51.
And you would call them and try to get them to come back.
But I would call them and find out when they were in town. My goal,
I see.
when you're in town, great. Ooh, hey, have you ever had the Caesar's buffet? It's amazing.
You know what's interesting? First of all, the catwalk thing is fantastic. One of these days, I have someone who's been around gaming for a long time, and I think people forget they were watching these games back in the day. They used to run these pretty precarious catwalks up on top of the tables, and you would look straight down. Yeah, so you had to really.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
because there was no tech. There was no cameras. That was like, but that was soon. You're not that old, dude. I mean, so they moved to cameras a little bit later on.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my first lessons was learning how the cameras looked at a dice game. I had never really paid attention, but I worked at the gate back in the day.
Right.
And then learning how they looked at the game, which was kind of weird. They had this top-down look, and which is just why dealers do what they do, because of that
why
limited.
They clap out.
Because of that limited view.
And we're watching the employees more than the players.
No, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. All right, so another thing that's interesting, and I want to put this out there for a second. So we were talking about one of my favorite places was Batista's Hole in the Wall.
It's still there.
And when I used to play at the Holiday, I've gotten a comp to that restaurant off property. Oh, not really me, but a friend of mine who was a high roller. They sent a car, and they took him. And with us, me having been part of that entourage,
yeah, I got it.
And we went to Batista's. Like, we literally got comped off site because there wasn't a lot of food choices. You know what I mean? Before now everything is self-contained.
Now our goal is to keep you on property.
Correct. And Caesars especially, like, they have that food court. They've had that food court for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it's just a bit more foofy. But I know, like, Caesars, a few places had so Gone had. I'm gonna just linger here for 2 seconds. So. What's it called? Ping Pang Pong. Remember, that was back in the day, that was one of the few real elite Chinese
That's
food.
right. It was in the coffee shop, per se, but in
at
the back.
barbecues.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we also had Michael's, which didn't even have a sign above it. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
It was there.
There was Piero's. There were certain restaurants in town. If you were a casino and you didn't have a lot of amenities, maybe you just had a cafe. A lot of places, that's all they had. They had some type of cafe.
Right.
They would have to send you off property. And that's why, like, Golden Steer, some of these restaurants they're still going.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting how that dynamic has changed. Now everything is like, an island.
In the
You know?
90s, even at the Hilton, we didn't have a really good Chinese restaurant. Or we didn't have a Chinese restaurant. We had
Yeah.
Benihana, but that's,
You had a
glorified.
There was a French restaurant that I went to once.
Le Montrachet.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
God. By the way, I was with Lisa, and that was the first place I ever spent $100 bill. And,
dinner?
On dinner. Like I finally
now
made
that's
a little
2
bit of money.
drinks.
That's 2 drinks.
Yeah.
I took with us $200 to go there to eat, and I had just gotten a better dealing job, and I had never been to a fancy. Well, I had when I was very young with my parents, but for us to go and
Right.
I was living at this right down the street at Las Palmas Apartments. That was right up there on
I know where
Paradise. You
those
know where
are
those
at.
are?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of dealers live there, and I was able to walk right to.
Dealers live there now, but they're not dealing cards.
Yeah, they're doing something else. Yeah, 100%. So we went there, and oh my God, dude. By the way, there's a little. I mean, they come out with all the all the foofy crap, and then you
Right.
get this little. We went to Burger King afterwards, dude. It was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't enough food. But anyways, all right, yeah. So you used to be able to comp. Did you comp? Were you able to comp off property, or everything was sort of in house?
No, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I had one player that you read about in the book where as long as he would risk $1 million one month, the next month I'd take
Oh.
him anywhere on the world he wanted to go.
That makes sense.
I mean, he's fast Eddie. He wanted to go to Super Bowl. We went to Super Bowl. Kentucky Derby. He wanted to go whitewater rafting for his 70th birthday. We went to Costa Rica. I thought we were going to die. I mean, we had 2 guys in pontoons following us and everything.
Isn't that amazing? You play enough money in Vegas, and you can almost do whatever you want.
And I took him to Greece for 2 weeks on a
Wow.
200-foot yacht because that's what we want to do. And while we would sleep, we'd go to a different topless island.
Everybody's gonna want to be a host after hearing this. Everybody's gonna
Well,
want to try.
but you have to have the players.
Yeah.
Players are power.
Yeah.
I mean, I started in the pit at Caesars. This was before Mirage opened, so everybody came there.
Yeah.
And then I was really lucky. I was at Hilton in the heyday. Then I was at Hard Rock in the heyday. We were the only cool place, 94, 95, 96, and 99. I mean, before the Palms opened, Hard
Yeah.
Rock, if you were even older, but you were cool, you went to the Hard Rock.
Yeah, Hard Rock is the place to be.
Absolutely.
I tried to get a job there as a dealer.
Oh, man, it was a good
I-
dealing job.
I got into Rio, and I
Okay.
started making when Marnell owned it. That was a great job. When they had Club Rio, Marnell owned it. It was fantastic.
That's where I
job.
stole Larry from.
Oh,
was
really?
Rio. Yeah.
But Hard Rock was definitely. I managed to get the $25 Purple Haze checks. I had to buy in. They wouldn't let you buy them at the cage. You remember those? They had a limited
Yeah.
edition Purple Haze checks.
But yeah, you couldn't buy them at the cage because
you had to buy it on Blackjack.
Collectors would come and drain
and
us.
just suck them dry. All right, here's the thing. I got a few questions because
Okay.
here's an interesting thing. So this book is about kind of the whale experience because I think that grabs a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of money comes to Vegas.
People can't believe that there's private elevators and tunnels when they can gamble in the back, but we don't have private tables in their room. There's so many myths too.
There is a lot of myths.
And
Like
nobody bets $1 million on one hand of craps like the movies, and
Yeah.
they have to put it up, and it's on. People play on credit. Nobody comes with big trunks of cash. There's a lot of BS too.
There's a lot of BS. All right, so what makes a whale? What is a whale?
Well, I have 2 definitions. A high roller to me is somebody that'll risk 25 grand to say 100,000 on a weekend or 2 days, and I have a lot of those. And any host, by the way, that tells you they have thousands of players is full of poop.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
no.
We've run
I
across
have
that.
right now, and I've been doing it 38 years, and this makes me Michael Jordan. I have about 38 to 40 guys that'll blow 100,000 to 250. Okay, I have 70 guys that'll blow 25 grand to 100, and I have $9 million players. And that's it. And that's taken me 38 years. And I lose 20% of them a year because, it's called 100 people.
Yeah.
And I try to earn a few grand off each player.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I look at it. But I lose at least 20% a year because they're broke, they're sick of gambling, or they're sick of Steve. The third one doesn't happen often, but it happens.
But it happens. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because remember, I'm like their agent. I'm like their Jerry Maguire. I'm not the guy that worries about, they're going to get the best room, they're going to get the best suites, but can I split aces 4 times? Can I double down after a split? If I play 50,000 hand for 4 hours, do I get 200,000 in free play? Do I get are you going to pick me up in a private plane? It's all about the deal. In roulette, I want a single zero roulette, and I have my biggest female roulette player. She gets to pick which one of our balls that she wants to play with. You want the
I
bigger or
love
the
when they
smaller
pick the right ball, dude.
Correct.
No,
It's
that's
very important.
That's key, dude. You
Very
gotta
important.
have the right
So
ball.
to me, there's about 20 deal points.
Yeah.
If they lose $1 million, do they get a discount? Yeah, I'll eat 15% or 150 grand, but you got to pay me in 30 days. If you want 3 months, fine, but then I'm only going to eat 5%. You go over 90 days, you got to pay me the whole $1 million. After 6 months, it bounces. We go to the DA because gambling debts are enforceable in Nevada.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? By the way, there's so many levels to this dynamic. It's quite stunning. My friend that worked at Caesars for many years, just as an executive casino host.
Mm-hmm. What was his name?
It was years ago, dude.
Oh, because
it was years ago.
You know, a couple times. But anyway.
Daniel. Do you know a guy named Robert Gamble?
My
He was a high limit Pai Gow player. And so he was a friend that we would
high limit Pai Gow.
High limit Pai Gow.
You don't hear that
almost
a lot.
on Keno.
You don't hear high limit
so
Pai Gow.
$1,500. He would bet $1,500 a hand, but he would play, for 8 hours.
It's a grind game.
It's a bit of a grind game.
It's a grind game.
Not a lot of money you can make off of him, but he was a relationship I had, and so I wasn't there to play $1,500. I had a lot of dead time, and they would talk to me. I had another friend as well from the East Coast that would come out and play, quite a bit of money.
You have to introduce me to these people.
That's what I mean. So that's what he asked.
I can't do it under the table, but I get 16% of their theoretical loss.
So that's what he asked. So he would come over to me. At one point, he came over. Robert's up about 40,000 on Pai Gow, by the way.
And we want him ahead, because what happens if you're ahead? You bet more, you play longer, higher theoretical, I earn more.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go piss away 20 grand in 20 minutes.
And he never left with any money. I mean, he was the kind of guy who just wanted to be in action. It was just a game he liked to play. And I always find that as a dealer, as a crap dealer, that's the cutoff when you get to a certain level of play. A lot of these people, they're just there to play. It's not about, like, here we teach strategies, right? So we had a lot of people where the money means something. If the money means something to you.
In my world, it's a little different. I would, just in my world, I would disagree and say at the high level player, like Larry Flint, I was his host for 20 years, he came to win.
Really?
He came to win.
He was at the Rio.
That's where I stole him from.
Oh, really?
That's where I stole him from.
So he would come in with his brother. Do you know the story about the? We'll have to share. We'll get back to that. We got to share some stories, dude. All right, I got some stories.
And there's pictures of Larry and I in the book. It's cool. So.
But so I got to know this host because he was interested. So my family happened to have this accountant who was also with one of the big five. He was like a VP. He would come out with a lot of money. He didn't really like to play, but he was a terrible player. And so when he did play, he was just really quick about it. His 10,000 would be gone.
No discipline?
No discipline.
Okay.
He really was just there to be in action. He would even talk about it very dismissively. He was just there to, lose a little money for the casino, justify the room.
Look good.
It looked good. And so when this host saw me playing with both of these people, and I'm sitting there, I have no money. I'm just in jeans. These are just people I know.
Right.
He started talking to me about, the life, the experience he had. I knew him many years ago. But it's interesting. What's one thing that strikes me as well is that these hosts, you're like the friendliest guys. You would expect when I meet you, when I first heard of you before I actually met you, I expected you to be a little more like a butler, like a stuffier kind of experience. You know what I mean? Where you're having
a lot of hosts are. I think I've been doing it so long, Dave. I don't have fear of loss anymore.
You just let it go.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's very disarming. You know what I mean?
And I think some hosts make the mistake of they almost scare their players.
Yeah.
Oh, if I'm not going to be here, don't come. Or, oh no, don't come that weekend. I'm like, hey, I don't care where you stay. When you're in town, call me. You can give me a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work for Resorts World too. So a lot of times I will go to Resorts World, get a big player, then to come to Ellis Island.
All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the questions. I love that you took the time to. I see that you've crimped some pages, so that makes me happy.
I did crimp some pages. All right. So 93, you were at the Hilton.
Correct.
What was some of the biggest action you saw at the Hilton? So I love that you were at the Hilton because I know the Kerry Packer. I know that top floor, the famous Elvis Presley floor.
There's not an Elvis suite. We imploded it. I was there, and we.
Oh, really?
And now
it's
it's 3 sky villas, right? 12,000, 13, and 15,000 square feet.
So we did an event there at Westgate.
Okay.
I've never stayed above I never had to go to that other elevator bank.
Right.
To the 26th level.
Right.
And
then one elevator just goes to 30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
4 to 30.
Yeah. Okay, that one I haven't been to. Okay. But we managed to stay. What floor? 28th floor. We got
28th floor is nice. They have some nice suites.
Dude, it was 3,000 square feet. It's bigger than my house. You know what I mean?
Was it on the very end?
It was in the middle. It was 2. They put 2 together.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's what's called a mini villa.
That's
called a mini
love
villa.
It. I'll take the mini.
And it was amazing. Right?
It was fantastic, dude.
I mean, so that we would put because I was vice president at Westgate. afterwards in 2016, 17, and we'd put like $150,000 player in that room.
So let me ask you this. So what is, or arguably is, the nicest room? So I'm at the Rio. I hear a valet talking about this, that they're trying to get Kerry Packer, which we didn't get him, by the way. He played for 2 days. I was a dealer there. Toke rate went 750 and 50. It went ridiculous. It was the best two toke days we had, right, ever. And that was a great job, okay?
Right.
But I know that they were trying to accommodate him in a 25,000 square foot suite. They were trying to combine something.
There used to be in the Plaza, which is the building behind the Rio, which is still there,
Okay.
private pool. It
Yeah.
looks like just its own little mansion.
Yeah.
There was a couple like 8,000 square feet villas there. I've been in that, and they were going to try to combine those. Or
Okay.
something. But the nicest suite back then, and maybe still, is the Verona Villa at Westgate. It's 15,000 square feet. Now,
Is that the top? That's the top floor.
Yeah, on the
that
top
everybody
floor there are
sees.
3 suites.
And there's a pool up there, no?
They have a private swimming pool. They're bigger than the one at your house.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I have a great
unbelievable.
story about
It's so
that
insane.
pool too, by the way.
And I met my friend, my one wealthy friend. He got this 2-floor suite at Bally's
Okay.
many years ago. I think that, but prior to me staying at the Westgate, that was the nicest room I ever saw. And is that the one? So I remember. You remember? What's the one with Tom Cruise?
Well,
that
that was a movie called Rain Man.
Rain Man.
And that was at Caesar's Palace.
And
And
so
that was okay, but the Golden Nugget that just had a staircase going up to the bedroom
Yeah.
up. There's a million of those around
Oh,
town.
really?
Like, you've never been to and seen like the bowling alley suite at Virgin?
No,
or Hard
so-
Rock? Have you seen the basketball suite at Palms?
No.
There's a
yeah,
full
nobody wants this.
basketball court.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get out more and bring your cameras. I'll
I-
get you into all those.
I had a hookup at MGM. I got to stay in one of the balcony suites, one of the
At the mansion?
in the front. No, not in the mansion. So if you look at the front of the MGM, not the MGM Grand, if you look
I
at the
know what you're
front,
talking about.
the
Yeah.
side
Yep.
face of the street, you'll see a few way up there. You'll see a few
That are 2
balcony
stories,
suites.
yeah.
They have little jacuzzis
Right.
on those
They're-
balconies.
They're called pool villas.
1,500 square feet
Yeah.
or 1,800 square
They're
feet,
cool.
something like that. Really, that was the most. I got that room for $50. I knew someone at the front desk, and so they were a front desk supervisor, and so they were able to push the button.
They NEA'd you. Nothing else available. Or
Yes, and they just kept
yeah.
kept moving me up the thing, and
Yeah.
I got it from my mom actually. My mom ended up staying there. I kicked her the hell
There
out.
are
I'm like,
so
"Dude,
many
this is
cool
good."
rooms in town. Again,
Yeah.
Virgin, we had 2 suites with the bowling alley is really cool that Peter Morton made. I mean, there's a bowling alley, a
Yeah.
real bowling alley right in the middle of your room.
So if
So yes, I've been in all of them.
as much as you work with certain casinos, do you have access to this? Is this like
Yeah.
if someone specifically says, "Hey, I want to stay at that Virgin Suite," you can kind of negotiate and work it out with them.
Correct.
Interesting. All right, we're gonna get to the pay thing. I'm so curious how the hell you make your money.
Okay.
'Cause so
well, it
the-
depends on in California or the Bahamas. I work for the Bahamar.
Yeah.
It's real easy. 12% a loss.
Yes,
you win,
that's
I get
what,
shit.
That's
I get 0.
what. Yeah,
sorry.
you get 0. Yeah. So that's what I heard is that
I want
they-
you to win in Nevada and lose in California.
that
and
loss
the Bahamas.
rebate. You get a piece of that loss rebate, whatever.
No,
they
not a
negotiate,
loss
right?
rebate of what he lost.
Of what he lost.
Guy loses 10 grand, I
Yeah.
get $1,200. Guy loses a
Interesting.
million, I get 120 grand.
All right, interesting. All right, ready?
Yeah.
How much do you make?
You know,
Right, I go right for the jugs, dude.
Right.
Look at this. I got a thing right here. You talk about your salary at the Hilton. You went from 150. It's right here in the book, dude. You know what I love about this?
in the 90s, I had years where my bonuses were not $500,000, but close.
But close.
And stock options and all that good stuff.
If you guys love Vegas, this book is incredibly honest.
Thank you.
It is ridiculously honest. In fact,
And we've
if
never,
you read
that's
it,
3rd edition, we've never, because Dee took the time to interview the wife, the gambler, the girlfriend, the
Yeah.
hooker, the dealer, everybody. You know, he
oh,
really,
I'm getting to that one.
okay.
I'm into that one too.
Well, I'm not a librarian, brother.
Yeah, I know. You don't remember. So
Escorts
it's
are
interesting.
legal, by the way.
Because
in
you
Clark County.
working, you're kind of working. You're providing. You come to town. You don't realize a lot of these amenities exist. A lot of people don't even know the MGM Mansion exists.
Oh, I know, it's unbelievable.
It's-
Yeah,
it's like
they
hidden
keep it,
there.
Yeah,
They keep
and
it
it's
so
amazing.
quiet.
Have you ever eaten there and you feel like you're outside, but you're not?
So I delivered 2 cars there. I worked for Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
The GL 550 came out with the bigger engine, and a guy in there bought 2 cars. Okay, 2 GLs, and wanted them delivered. And so, I was low on the totem pole.
So you went to the back gate.
So at first I thought you had to go to the front gate. They won't let you in. You have to be in a limo or something like
Correct.
this. You go in the back gate. It's got this little loop. So I got to go out I deliver the car. I met there, not with the guy, by the way, some valet or butler or
Yeah,
some crap
probably
signs
butler,
off the
yeah.
thing. And then they escort me to this side door. I no longer have a car. I've got to go to MGM Grand Valet. I can't go
Okay.
out that same way. So they escort me, and this is kind of cool because I've shown him the door. So there is a little secret side passage, and you open it, and it goes through, and there's like a little walkway, and there's a garden, but it's kind of outside. It's uncovered. And then it goes through a one-way door onto the MGM Grand floor.
But wait, it was covered though, wasn't it? You just got to look way up. It's like 50 feet.
It might be really high,
Yeah,
but
no,
I just
yeah.
saw the plans.
It's
there was like a
covered.
little garden in there.
If it's 110 out, it's like
Yeah, okay,
75
so that
grand
could
there.
be.
It's covered.
But it's like one of those atrium kind of things.
It's the
There's like a
size of
garden.
like 2 basketball gymnasiums.
Okay, really?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I was kind of overwhelmed by the place, to be honest with you. But it's so cool because it's all these plants and it's a garden. It's like a
Right.
virtual little. You feel like you're outside.
It's your own city.
Yeah. So I exit this doorway, and oh my God, I'm right on the casino floor, one-way door. It just right on, and you would never know that it connects to the MGM Mansion. And I've showed him where that is. So it looks like now they've made it a little bit of like, it says employees only coming from the side of the MGM Grand, but on the other side, it's where the mansion would let out. So they have access to the Grand, but its own little private thing. But stunning. We have a table from. So do you know Joe Wilcox?
No.
So we have to shout out. So Joe Wilcox recently passed away, and he was the first casino manager to work with CEG Dealer School. He became good friends with Alex, and he opened the MGM Mansion
Wow.
way back in the day. We have one of the opening MIDI Baccarat tables with the original, not the original felt, but with the original rail.
Okay.
And the original bank. You'll notice it's all taped up now, but we kept it so that it would be the original, bank.
You know,
the
when they
original-
first opened, remember you could walk through the lion, and we told them all of
Oh,
our Asian
yeah.
customers that's bad luck.
Yeah.
So they had to change it.
They changed the
Yeah,
line now,
yeah.
yeah. But so we have the original MIDI Baccarat game that Joe Wilcox, he gave us this frame picture we have here, along with the table. And
Is it hanging up out there?
it's hanging up.
Okay, I think
You gotta
I have
see
seen
it.
Yeah, I think I saw it. but
And
I
it's
must
the
see it again.
original. So they had this kind of weird green that they originally got rid of. They ended up getting rid of it because, again, I guess green isn't all that lucky.
No, green and fours.
Yeah, green
No-
and
no
forest. So they
fours.
got
We
rid
had
of
to
this.
change it. The Hilton.
So they had to
all
change it.
the numbers. on
Right,
it, yeah.
right. But so Joe went on to he ended up managing the Barbary Coast later on. But he was in the business for a long ass time. Sadly, towards the end of life, he was at the railroad path, which kind of a retirement gig. But he recently passed away, and we want to say thank you, Joe. I know you're doing
That's
wonderful
cool.
things. Yeah. But so we got a little connection to the MGM Mansion. All right. Okay, you ready? Dude,
Yeah.
I have to say the level of honesty. Okay, we have a chapter in here about the limousines and the
Okay.
drivers.
Okay.
So let's just say I'm done gambling.
Right.
I call you to grab me a limousine. Okay. What can my driver how do my drivers accommodate? Because it used to be you got in a limo in Vegas
Right.
and there was a whole nother menu. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about
Are you with
drugs or
me?
what?
I'm not
You-
talking about drugs so much as the girls and them having access to the other side of Vegas.
And I think that's one. I don't know if you got this from the book because I'm about 60% of the book. I'm not all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the big stereotype, David. I mean, I can count on one hand in 37 years
Yeah.
all my guys that want to do blow and ecstasy. The guy, that's the guy in the nightclub with the glow sticks all night.
Yeah,
My,
no,
my
100%.
guys are definitely chasing tail, but they want to gamble.
But you focus on the
they're
money
not druggies.
and the
Yeah, yeah.
amenities.
Just
Yeah.
The guy that wants to get effed up all night. That's not my guy.
Yeah, this doesn't refer to you exactly, but
Okay.
it's here.
Okay,
know?
yeah.
And it's another part of it. We get asked that a lot.
If anybody asks me for drugs, I'm like, dude, I'm a goody-goody. I've never had a cup of coffee. I
Yeah.
never tried cocaine. I was afraid I'd like it. I mean, I'm really not that guy.
That's honest, dude. Look at Dennis.
No,
just smiling.
never,
I can't
never
help it.
tried ecstasy.
Yeah, I've
any
tried
of
X,
that.
dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Did you like it?
I mean, let's just say it wasn't just one time.
I have
Well,
a
it was
friend
the
now
early
that gets me
90s.
some candy bars with mushrooms from Oregon, and
Well,
those
it's
are
legal.
those are good. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
it's legal.
are good.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
not legal in Nevada, but
But it's interesting that the limousine used to think that was a whole different type of culture back in the day, right here in Vegas.
to get a limo was unbelievable. And then the Hard Rock changed it and said, limos are hard to get in and out. And Peter Morton was like, I want SUVs. And now everybody likes the SUVs
Yeah, the
better.
big ass SUVs. Yeah, no, 100%.
But we had the party buses back in the day, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's a thing in here talking about the smaller fish. So how small a fish how can I call Steve Cyr?
Well, here's the thing. I have three types of players. One is they're so rich, Montel, Michael Jordan, Larry Flint, if they lose, who cares?
Right.
The other third, they're the funnest, but should not be here. They're gambling above their means. They should not be here. They're the funnest, but I'm going to burn them out.
Right.
Then the other third is the small fish. As their age and wealth increases, David, their gambling increases. My biggest player right now, I met when I was 21. He's the same age as me. I'm 59. He's 59. We're calling Mr. S. He is now a billionaire, and he is a $5 to $10 million player every trip. I don't always get him. He'll go to Bahamar and to London for me. I work for a casino called the Hippodrome. And as his age and wealth increased, his gambling budget increased.
Yeah.
So I like young guys, and that's cool. What I told people is, look, if and not to sound like a jerk, but I need guys that bring at least $5,000, and I'll put you at Ellis Island and put it in the cage and draw markers off of it. Come to Casino Quest and learn how to play correctly, and then we'll go from there.
By the way, we met with the family, a family member with Ellis.
Yeah,
we love Ellis. I mean, even before we met with them, by the way, we've always promoted Ellis as a great place to play $5 and $10 games.
That's how we found you, because
I
was like, hey, how do these young players know how to make a place bet for the boys? And they're like, Casino Quest.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the dealers got to a point where they would see the bet and know instantly who taught them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had dealers literally going, oh, crap, here we go. But you know what's interesting? And for our fans, I have to tell you, so we met with Anna Marie Ellis.
Right.
I guess the daughter, right?
Yeah,
Is that the daughter?
Yeah.
And I asked her very specifically, like, why would you keep your why do you keep your tables at $5 and $10? I don't want you to stop. I just want to know, like, what's the part? And she literally said it's the culture. We want to be a casino that people feel more comfortable. It's more organic. It's fantastic. I mean, they could, like every other casino in town, even a lot of local places, $10 games, dude.
Well, and we have quarter games too. But we always make sure we have, especially in dice, and they're always packed.
They're always packed.
I don't care if it's a dead Tuesday at 3 in the afternoon. It's packed.
I mean, we talk about strategies and opportunity, and I mean, I love the fact it's literally one of the last $5 tables. I mean, unless you want to go to Henderson, right?
Do you know, on our dice game now, I think we're the first place ever we have the reader board, and it tells you the all and the small and the last 20 rolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know how on the wheel they have that? We have it on a dice table now.
So so Ellis, I'll tell you the things. They have the yard, which is fantastic.
The front yard.
The front yard.
Correct.
They've always been famous for barbecue.
Yep.
Right? Here, we're promoting them really quickly because we really want, if possible, like you guys, we're considering having our next D&D event there because we feel like, I mean, that's literally our people, right?
And if you sing, which I don't, everyone's got an Ellis Island karaoke
Oh,
store.
they have a karaoke, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Number one for years.
Many years ago, probably around 93, I'm working at Imperial Palace.
IP.
The IP, yeah.
Hottest waitresses back in the day because non-union.
Yeah, because Ingolstadt, he would sit them on his lap and work them over. They had to be hot. You didn't get it. I once watched an interaction between him and a cocktail waitress who was gaining a little weight, and I could see them. She was arguing about having to wear her skimpy suit. And,
that little blue outfit. I can't believe I can still remember it, but I can. Yeah.
And all I can remember seeing was she was like waving it at him, and he was talking. Because he used to say, you remember they had some kind of Hawaiian bar, island bar, or something like this that was out by the pit.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but he would hang out there all the time, and he would either do business or interview. I mean, he would just be hanging. And there was one table I worked at where you could kind of see him interacting. Anyway, so I worked my first shift at the IP. This is before that. And my boxman tells me, I'll see you at Ellis later. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I'll see you at Ellis? He's like, yeah, see you at Ellis.
Because your first drink's free if you're in the industry. We
do
that.
Is that always been a thing?
Yes.
So I meet him there. And, so you had to share your first envelope with the boxman. That was the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know that rule.
So it was a thing back in the day. Ellis was kind of a destination for dealers because it was off the strip. And it was a standalone property. And
we're still table for table,
And nobody dealers loved going there. because it's not part of Station, it's not part of Caesars,
Right.
it's not part of anything. It's just its own, its own thing. So you can drink and get rowdy at Ellis, and no one found out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could do your own thing. So it was really, really epic. So anyway, so that was my very first experience. And then of course, they had great Keno, dude. They had great slot machine for the longest time. Some of the highest paybacks. Still to this day, not only do they have the
You're like
lowest
my
limit
only
tables,
friend that loves Keno, by the way.
I know,
That's a
right?
whole nother.
We'll get you some more
story.
friends, dude. It's fine. We'll work on that. But they have the best paybacks. They still pay over $800 for a strip property. So they still pay back. Do you guys have 9 to 5? Not sure. You do have 9 to 5 on video poker? I mean, that's the thing. So if you're on the strip, and now Formula One, the seating is going to be across the street, right? They're building that whole thing out.
It's right next door.
You guys are going to be quite literally.
We are literally next door.
The heat of it.
Yeah, and we're going to have our own grandstand. It's crazy.
They're
going to land on our 5th floor. It's crazy. All
really?
the stuff that's going to be
that's
for
amazing.
Formula One.
So people are getting in a hurry to. I've heard that they're gonna take advantage of that. Probably look forward to expanding maybe the footprint of that place.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a couple remodels right now, so we're going to double. We need more pit. We're a pit house.
Dude, we're sending you so many. I honestly believe that Casino Quest and CEG has had a role in sending a lot of players.
I believe it.
Go pick them up. Go over there and check them out.
I don't know. We should have a link, and then they could, I'm Steve at stevecyr.com. We're going on my Instagram at Steve CYR Vegas, and so
let them know if you're on your way to Ellis. Let them know.
Beers
Even if
on
you're a
us.
low roller. You know what I mean? All right. Here's the thing I picked out. This is so fantastic. Do you remember Mr. Q? Do you know who I'm talking about?
We changed a lot of names, so tell me the
All right,
the
so
story.
here's a guy. The guy would play 600. So you guys would sit him at his own table because he was such a terrible player.
No, I know who it is. Yeah. It's Randy.
I know a guy, and now
he
I'm
was
like,
so
oh
bad.
my God.
We don't want him to see how to play. It's terrible.
So here, let me give you a quick synopsis. A guy comes, he's got $600,000 to blow,
Right.
and the casino goes out of a way to make sure that his game is completely private. So that he.
Well, we didn't want other people to sit down because he would. I mean, this guy would split tens. He was terrible. But you know what? The first few times he would win, and he got the hook in him.
Yeah.
So some people do play crazy and win. That does happen.
No, 100%.
But it's math. Over
Yeah.
time, if you play poor,
Yeah.
we're gonna get you. That's why you need Casino Quest.
100%. We saw a guy buy in for $400. So steps out to Bellagio table. $100 game. It was a $50 game. He tried to buy 2 bets. He tried to get 2 bets in for his $100 bill, but it had already gone to a $100 game, so he got embarrassed. And he's like, well, just put that on a horn. He moved it over to the prop.
Which is a one roll.
Which is one roll. He hits it, of course, on the high side. Now, amazingly, out of the next 30 rolls, 20 of them at least are horn bets. We watched him cast out 13,000.
That really happened?
13,000 in 30 rolls. 30 rolls later, him and this other guy, by the way, who knew nothing about dice. It's amazing because they were trying to.
How did he even know about a horn bet? Usually a rookie doesn't even know other than pass line.
He was trying to bet a $50 6 and 8, so I'm not sure he really knew place bets, but he was a short money player. He's a guy that was just throwing 11s, 12s. At some point,
was
he
he
saw
also
somebody
rolling the dice or somebody else?
No, somebody else was rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, someone else was already shooting the dice.
Okay.
So a lot of these short money players, that's all they got. They bet hops, they bet, hard ways, this kind of thing. And it was amazing. We saw him and one other guy over 10,000 on $400 or $500.
Okay, well, that's really, really lucky and might never, ever happen again. Yeah.
No, that's never going to happen again. But those guys are going to play forever, dude. They're never going to forget that one day. That's the best thing that could have happened
and
in Bellagio.
that's what the story in the book was, is he had a couple of times when he won, and then he had the fever, we call it, forever.
So there's a guy that comes out to Vegas. For you place bettors out across, $3 million credit. Do you know who this is?
No.
So it's unheard of.
Where does he?
So imagine this. I've been dealing dice forever, for 32 years, right? I worked at Rio, I worked at Cap Game, $500 games. I've worked you name it. I've dealt to, I don't know if you remember back at T-Shirt Joe. He used to start at Caesars.
T-Shirt Joe.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I never hosted him, but I know
So,
but
he would go to the Gold Coast and low roll it. But they would open the high limit $5 game. But he was friends with Michael Gahn, so he would go over once they got done with Caesars. But I have, and a $320,000 with someone with some real money, that should scare the hell out of a casino because that you get out of
My
hand.
biggest dice player will bet 10 flat with 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And he'll do 2 or 3 numbers, and his average bet is about 170 grand every roll of the
Every
dice.
roll of the dice,
And then
wow.
he'll take 25 grand and do 5,000
Yeah.
on every hardware and a $5,000 yo every roll.
Holy
$5,000 yo.
smokes.
And the yo he'll split with the boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never had that guy. Well, I've dealt 60 oh my God, I'm having 64,000 across. So I've dealt 10,000 on the place bets, right? I've dealt that.
Right.
And I've actually gotten 25,000 for 11. We actually blew a bank and we were exchanging because so on a $14,000 pay, we were handing off 25,000 for 11,000. You know what I mean? Because we had already dumped like
Right.
$4 or $5 million. No more. We had to start converting these people in the rail. I mean, we just didn't have the money. I had 4 guys. We had 8 people on that table that day.
Where was
all
that
playing
at?
Rio, all
Oh,
playing
Rio.
over $500. All at $500 game. I wish I remember the bookie, the sports agent that. So there was a very famous sports agent that would come into the Rio. He would only buy in for $150,000,
Was
$200,000.
Dan Chandler back? Was it?
I'm not sure what his name is,
that?
but my
No, he was the
understanding was he
host,
had
Dan
like
Chandler.
okay, no, I don't know
Okay,
any of the host
okay.
names, but this guy had like 100. He was a very famous sports agent. I remember one time someone gave me an article, and he was in it of having like 10% of all the baseball players at the time. He was just phenomenally wealthy dude.
I know.
Do you know
his
who this
name.
is?
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
come to me.
a tall guy.
Yeah.
And so this little Chinese guy buys up this game. Started it with a $5 check, coming off of a slot machine, throws a $5 check on the table. We're like, dude, it's a $500 game. He starts pulling up his chair. He starts moving his chair up to the game. And after having thrown in one red $5 check on a $500 minimum game, but the table's dead, completely dead. And we're like, sir, you can't, this is not a thing. We're trying to back him off the game. And now he's pulling the chair from the slot machine, which, you can't do that. You
No.
can't sit down at a crap table.
You are if you're a high roller, and I've got an older gentleman that we do that for. But yeah, it's very rare.
So the next thing you know, one of the executive hosts comes running over, literally running, sprinting over. No, it's okay. It's okay. He happens to be a $3 million player. He just takes a break every now and then, plays dollar slots. You know what I mean? So they're letting him move this $5 chip around the table. And next thing you know, it's a $500 game, gets filled up, there's 4 people aside, and it just goes on a tear. And it's just, it was the biggest game I personally have ever dealt. It was fantastic. But
do you know what the game lost that shift? I'm just curious.
I heard $8 million.
Wow.
I heard, but it might that's, as a dealer, it's not kind of thing you told it. But I heard
Most
$8
I've
million.
ever had somebody win in a trip is 7.
Oh, really? But this
Yeah.
was 8 guys.
No, I know. That's what I mean.
You know who was on this guy? Do you remember a guy named Aria?
Yeah.
Oh, you know who I'm talking about. So can I talk shit? Is he still alive? Is that guy still around? Is he your player? Because if he's your player,
He passed away.
okay,
And I was
what a
not,
piece of what a POS.
My friend Mark Gore was his host.
You
but
know he was the worst player
Yes.
to ever float Vegas.
Yes.
There's not a dealer in town. We all hated it. If you worked at any tier casino at any point, if you were at MGM, he was a Caesar's Palace. He was a dealer himself.
Yeah.
And he was a stroking asshole. He would play ridiculous sums of money. I always wondered
No
how
fear.
the hell.
He had no fear.
No
No
fear. He would buy in, but he was the bane of every crap dealer. He was a big chunk player. He knew the bets, but he would not bet correctly. He would shuffle his chips. He was just a pain in the ass. I'm amazing. Ira, yeah. So he's passed away. Yeah, he was. Yeah, of course. All right. Well,
So did you deal other games or just dice?
I was mostly. Every now and then they would throw me over to Blackjack. That didn't last long. I'd have a card.
At Ellis, they
I'd
want to
have-
rotate because they're
Yeah.
table for table, so that's a big deal. I don't know if your audience
Yeah.
knows what that means. But
Yeah.
It means they don't pool. They
Ellis
keep
keeps
their,
their own. Yeah, you keep your own tips.
There's
yeah.
only like I think 2 or 3 that still do that.
Stratosphere does it.
Okay.
Ellis does it. I know. I have. I can't let it out of the bag, but there's a few more casinos coming online that are going to start doing it.
They should because
It's
then
worked out
the
phenomenally
dealer's gotta
well.
be
Yep.
friendly. If they only make $20, they go home with $20.
And first, the Ellis Island dealers not only are friendlier, they're better. They try. They're not lazy. They're accommodating because they're there to help you. They know
Yep.
they're going to make your money.
They want you to win.
They want you to win, dude. And if
Yeah.
you go there and you play squeeze play, let's say, one of our strategies,
Okay.
they're okay. They're fine. They don't commiserate about it. You go to Bellagio right now. I hate to throw Bellagio on the bus, but we went there, And there was a couple of dealers that weren't all that happy about moving their hands across the table. I have a guy that's wanting to come out.
How lazy.
And who literally wants to see me just so he can learn how to better interact with difficult dealers. Because that's what happens. Dealers get older, they get jaded. I'm going to guess.
And they're in a pool, so they don't care. They're going to get their cut regardless.
That's it. I'm going to guess that you. So here, let's see if you have a story. Do you have a story about? Because I know a story of Kerry Packer and some dealers.
Okay.
But do you know a story about a difficult dealer?
Well, yeah, several. But I mean, I was there when we cashed out Kerry Packer, and I'll tell you a quick Kerry Packer story. So
Go.
I'm in a bonus pool. This would have been like, I don't know, 96, 97.
Uh-huh.
And our EBITDA was like $58 million, earnings before interest and taxes. And as long as we hit that, I was in a B bonus pool, not the top bonus pool.
What casino?
Hilton.
Oh,
and
Hilton,
I was going to get 45,000 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
So I order my new Camaro, my new IROC.
Wow, IROC, dude.
Yeah, International Race of Champions
Old
Camaro.
school.
Right.
Not a Trans Am.
5 liter.
An IROC.
No, IROC. This Chevy. I had Trans Ams too. But. So it's December 28th. Kerry Packer rolls in. And he goes upstairs. We have a little private area for him above the showroom where Wayne Newton was. And he wins like $9 million.
Oh, my God.
We go below the 58. I had to cancel my car because we didn't get our bonus. Yeah, one player.
One guy.
3 days before New Year's Eve.
You.
Screwed us. So, yeah,
Wow.
that was crazy.
All right, ready? Here, what do you know about the big MGM fiasco? What do you know about this story? It's been It's been regurgitated a few times. So here's
Which
the story.
story?
Ready? He's at the MGM Grand. He's out $3 million. Okay, this is the first time. This is the first story I heard. Okay, because we have a lot of bosses that have sort of chimed in on how they interacted with it.
Are you talking about Kerry?
Kerry Packer.
And are you talking about when everyone
Where they were
colluded and
gassing
dropped
his-
the limits?
Yeah.
That happened.
That happened.
And
he wins like 40. He wins like ridiculous amount of money.
He came into town and won almost like, I think it's like $37 million between a bunch.
Yeah.
And so I think Baron Hilton and either Kirk Kerkorian or his number 2, if you said the name, I would know it. And Mr. Wynn, Steve Wynn, they all got together and they said, if you lower the limits, I'll lower the limits. And I think that for sure happened.
Yeah.
Because next thing you know, he came in and everybody, we wouldn't let him bet. At one time, we were letting him bet like 152 spots. All of a sudden, it was 350s, period, or don't come here.
Yeah, so on that table, so when he took the
MGM, but I think that's true.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because at the MGM, he would pick 2 dealers. They would line them up. He would pick 2 dealers, and he would bet 6 spots, 2 games, 25,000 each spot, 150, 300,000, right? That's so the story goes. That's how he picked up that 30 million. And
We never let him do the way he smoked us is just 3 hands at 100,000, and we would have dealers waiting, and he could rotate him anytime he wanted. He could go 3 hands, no, new dealer, 3 and we would burn a card, and the new dealer would go.
That's how Neiman. You remember Neiman? Do you remember Neiman, high limit roulette guy?
Sioma Neiman.
Yeah.
His last name was Neiman.
Oh, his last name.
First
Yeah,
name
his
was
last
Sioma.
name is Neiman.
Yes, I do.
So
I was never his host, but he would bet sections.
Yeah, he would only SR. They would bet. I mean, single zero.
Correct.
Yeah.
But he would bet sections, and he would bet. Sometimes I remember thinking, even if he hits, he's not going to make any money. But he would usually bet a couple thousand on like this section, all 10.
Right.
And then here and here. So if that section would hit, he would go.
So we would pre-shift. Rio, he would come into the Rio quite a few times, actually.
Yeah, I think his name was Sioma Neiman.
Yeah, I just know him by his last name.
Okay.
I never got to meet the guy because I was thankfully never a roulette dealer. Only dice, and he didn't play dice. But they would put up the list, so he was one of those players that had the sort of rider thing. You couldn't say hello, you couldn't look at him, you couldn't wish him good luck. And he would also start his day and
really, and so would you have to?
It was in the break room.
It was
literally hanging in the damn break room, dude.
Man, I wish you still had one of those. I would never. I've heard of those, but I thought that was just all BS.
Oh no, 100%.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I'm working there for only a couple of weeks. I actually got hired before the Masquerade Village. You remember when they opened the Masquerade Village?
Yep.
So I got hired, and I would work that table, which was actually very cool because I got to deal to like Tiger Woods.
You couldn't say good luck.
Yeah, there was a whole list, dude. It was a crazy. I mean, and then the list that had to do with the roulette game itself was like, dude, I didn't understand it, but I figured anything with like a list, it seems to be a little out of place. There was a lot of deals. There was a lot of players that by the way, that have that kind of thing. So
Maybe international players,
Yeah.
I've had a few international players that are very superstitious. I had one player that brings a soothsayer, and obviously,
Soothsayer.
obviously, even at Hard Rock, the higher the floor, the better the suites. But the soothsayer would say, "Oh no, you need to be on 6th floor." Like, are you sure? Because there's only standard room. You go on 6th floor, and they'd lose $1 million. I'd be like,
Oh my
got to get rid of
God,
the
dude.
soothsayer. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I have one guy that we have to strain yogurt through cheesecloth as his butter. I don't know if it's the part that it catches or the part that strains through, and that's his butter. And he brings his own toilet paper. Really weird.
All right, ready? So, go ahead. Do we have?
I do have a couple questions.
We do have a couple.
Okay.
All right, so let's get to that. Yeah.
First is the couple super chats. That restaurant gives $5. Says, does Steve find his job harder to keep while Wells happy now, especially because casinos have tightened up their belt?
Good question. And I call them limp dicks in the book. The bean counters have hurt what I do. Everything's on theoretical. And that man, a guy comes in, we snap him for 30 grand quick. I got to give him some airfare to go home. I mean, he's busted. Oh, but it's theoretical. He didn't play long enough. Do you want him to play 40 hours and break even? Or the guy came in and, was drunk and lost 30 grand in 2 hours? Yeah. So, yeah, the bean counters have made it harder. There's a reason that I do a lot at Viejas and Barona and Indian casinos because they're much more liberal with comps. The other thing about Vegas, and this will sound kind of weird, it's just our town is so popular. I like, what I like about Ellis Island? Eat, drink, gamble. Let's say Hard Rock in my heyday. I'm sorry, what was your first name?
Dennis.
So Dennis brings his lady. They want to go to the pool because it's a pool party all day. Now Dennis and his girl are hot and drunk, and they run up a $2,000 bar tab. Now Dennis wants to take her to Nobu because she heard about Nobu. Great. Then they want to go see Santana. Okay, then they want to go to the nightclub all night. Dennis, when are you going to gamble?
Yeah.
There's so many, right? And now they want to go to the Vegas Golden Knight game or the Raider game and then the pool party. And then when are you going to get? I need 4 hours a day. So there's so much extra crap to do, it hurts me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So
It's not
Barona
just about the
Viejas,
gambling.
it's eat, drink, gamble.
Yeah, Ellis, eat, drink, gamble.
Yeah. Now we do have a
Literally.
skybox at Ellis, which is cool.
Really?
That I could, yeah. So you don't have to be a $200,000 player like at Resorts World. You got to be like a $20,000 player. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ellis family didn't want to go. I had that full of players.
Wow.
So I get players that are big that'll come to Ellis and fire on the 10 times odds and dice because I've got the skybox.
So
anyway, I don't know if that answered the question, but
No,
yes,
that did,
the,
yeah.
the bean counters have
It's
made
tough.
my job harder.
how much of the player's card? So a lot of us lower end players, right? Use a player's card.
Get rated.
You get rated.
I can't tell you how many times small players are like, oh, I'm only going to play a couple $100. You win. You sit there for 7 hours. You probably had 2,000 theoretical. I would have earned $300, and you would have got comp. But no, I didn't want to get rated. I don't care if you sit down with $40, show your card, make the floorman rate you, put it in the damn slot machine. Get rated. You have no idea how long you're going to sit there.
Yeah, you might get lucky. The
Correct.
machine may pay you, and you get to play.
Every day there are people that, oh yeah, I lost 2,400. Dude, you could have got a comped room. So now you paid it. Now I am the smoke and mirrors guy. Don't you love when people go, well, we're drinking for free? Dude, you had an $80 Budweiser. Dennis had a $200 rum and coke.
Yeah, that's
Well,
happened.
Steve comped my room though. Well, the room was on Expedia for $89. You lost $300.
Yeah. That's
he
true.
gave me a fight ticket. $500. You lost $6,000. I mean,
Yeah.
So it is smoke and mirrors.
It is. Good.
I have another super chat from Andrew. Gave us 17 Canadian. Says, if I have 5K coin in a slot daily, is that enough for me to reach out to host, or should I stick with the property's website offers or comps?
So his coin in is 5,000.
Yep, that's what it says.
Well, remember, we're going to win about 8%. 8% of that. So now he needs to just stick with the offers.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I'm going to talk to everybody like they're in 5th grade. For every 100,000 we drop on a blackjack game, Dennis buys in for 300, David for 1,000, me for 400. We win or hold 14% or 14 grand. In slots, about 7 or 8%. In sports, only 6. Don't call me and brag, oh, I bet all this in sports. Yeah, that's a grind. That's William Hill. No. I want blackjack. I want table games players and slot players. Don't waste my time. Oh, I play poker. Great. You lost 3 grand to the other people. You're renting a seat. We take a rate. For every $100, we take $4.
Yeah.
Poker players, race rats, no thanks.
Yeah.
Another question. This isn't a super chat,
So
but I thought it was
honest,
an
I love it.
interesting question.
Yeah.
Is what is the difference between you as an independent host and someone who's a host
By
for
the
the
way,
casino?
I had that for you. So what's in between a casino's host and you? as
Okay,
an
so casino host, let's say you're a casino host at Caesar's Palace. That's great, but you can only work at Caesar's Palace. I'm independent. I can take you anywhere. So say you get your ass kicked a few times. I don't want to go back to Caesar's. That Caesar's Palace coach can't help you. Oh, he might send you to Paris or Bally's or Horseshoe. I mean, because they own another Caesar's property. I'm one-stop shopping. So you're freezing your ass off in New York? Great, let's go down to the Baja Mar. Man, I've got the family. I can't be around all that tits and ass in Vegas. Let's go to Viejas and play golf for Barona and take the kids to SeaWorld. Hey, man, it's me and the guys. Great, let's go to Cosmo and fire it up, man. And I'll take you to Sapphire Club afterwards because I earn commission on your bottle spend there.
You're the new limo guy.
So I am a travel agent for gamblers. So that's why you want to independent. And I had to be licensed and all that, and it is not an exam that you want to go through, but I did it.
Yeah.
You're
actually a license.
I've only lived 2 places in my life: Atlanta, Kansas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And in 1999, my junket license was $38,000 to file the paperwork. I've never been arrested or in trouble in my life. What was this deposit for of $5,500? Well, it was late January. I think my dad sent me that to bet the Super Bowl. Really? I mean, they're going to go through everything. Do you know this particular person? You know, he's a convicted felon. Yeah, it's my friend. He's had a few DUIs. Okay. I mean, it's a privilege.
Yeah, you can't come out here and just say, hey, I'm a host.
No way. If your brother's uncle is a bookie, you're not getting licensed.
Yeah, no.
It's a privilege. And I want them to make it hard and difficult.
Yeah, so not everybody, 100%.
Derek gave us a $20 super chat. Says,
Derek,
if I deposit $10K, does that guarantee me a free suite?
Okay. Yes and no. First of all, we love front money deposits because we know what we can win, and everybody says that. My answer is he needs to bet 1% of that, $100. He plays 3-4 hours a day. If anybody deposits $10K and it's not New Year's Eve, Super Bowl Sunday, Comdex, don't kill me on that. The Raider, Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, don't even call me. But yeah, I'd get him a nice suite up front at Resorts World. But I would want a slow weekend. But absolutely. And if it's Saturday and he comes in Friday and he hasn't made a laydown yet, I've got your credit card. I might charge it.
Yeah, that's another thing, by the way. You're not nowadays. They got to see the play, so they'll comp you up front. But if you don't play,
I'm more liberal. I'll take a shot with anybody. But I'm like, dude, let's go put the money in the cage because that was part of the deal. Okay, I got you the room. I pick you up. Everything's happy, and I'm gonna tell you how to take a marker and let's go play. But yeah, I hope you win. You win, you bet more, you play longer, I earn more.
Ready? We're going to get, as soon as, okay, go ahead.
I love the questions, by the way.
I have a lot of questions,
Yeah,
actually.
there's a lot.
Someone asked, can you explain the difference between theoretical and rated, please?
Well, let's say, again, I'm talking like you're in 5th grade. I'm betting $100 a hand in blackjack. We're only going to win 1 or 2 bets an hour. I know it seems like more, but it's not. So if I bet $100 a hand for 3 hours, my theoretical loss should be $300. I'm going to comp you 30% of that. Okay, so his rated play will determine a theoretical. Now, is he on a single zero wheel? Because that's going to be different. Is he on a shoe? Is he on a single deck game? All those little factors. But just basically, it's, your average bet times the game you're playing times the amount of hours is going to give me a theoretical loss. And I'll tell you what it is. So when you get rated, you should say, and most players are like, I was betting a lot more than that. Dude, your first bet was $10. So you finally started winning. You went to 100 on 3 hands. That's not a $100 average bet.
Right.
On dice, it's about the 4th or 5th roll. You put a quarter, $10 on the pass line. You roll an 8. Okay. You put 5 times behind it. Now you take a come bet. Then you take some odds. So about the 4th or 5th roll, he's going to say, oh, he's got $85 out there. Boom, that's your average bet.
Right.
You should bet 1% of your line. Like I have guys that could qualify for a $50,000 credit line. Well, that means you need to bet at least $500 a hand. If you go to the quarter table, you're never going to lose that kind of money. Mm-hmm. It's math.
Dude, very good. Go ahead. What else you got?
Alan Toy has another question. It says, is it better to pay for your room out of pocket and get your room comped at the end of the trip or get your room fully comped at the beginning?
Because he's had this consistent problem getting that damn room comp.
Well, because does he consistently play? First of all, I'd ask him what game does he play.
God, don't tell him Keno.
If he plays video Keno, yes.
Roulette. He starts on roulette. He donks on roulette.
Roulette's great because that holds more.
Yeah.
So if everyone played roulette, we'd play golf 5 days a week. So it's better to get his room comped up front because afterwards they don't want to do it. So I put a lot of guys in room comp because it's a maid to clean it. It's $34 for a maid to clean a room. I don't care if you're at Caesars, Resorts World, or Ellis Island. Okay, it is not $3.99 a night unless they're sold out every night, and they aren't. Okay, yes, New Year's Eve, Comdex, National Finals Rodeo or something, of course. Get the room comped up front, and then go to your host and say, hey, can you take care of any of my food and beverage? I call that you're on a qualifier evaluation basis. So get the room comped up front. And look, I know hosts at Golden Nugget and I host at Palms. If I can't take care of you, I'm kind of king of the dipshits. I can say shits on.
Yeah,
this.
we're past the 30-second mark.
Oh, so sorry. I'm
Yeah,
king.
go.
I'm king of the.
No, you can swear now.
I got a
It's
lot
not-
of friends that are hosts, and
Yeah.
we'll find you something if you're gonna bring $3 to $5 grand.
Interesting question is, can anything be comped? Or is there a
Drugs,
limit?
no. Hookers, no. Room, food, beverage, golf, spa, shopping sprees. I bought guys' cars before. The casino has.
Yep.
I'm a big player. I had a custom dice table made and rented a U-Haul and drove it to him for his birthday. I had one player that wanted a tennis lesson for this kid, so I got Andre Agassi to give him a tennis lesson. I had a player that loved to play pool, and he wasn't going to stay with me, and the MGM sent him a new Mercedes. I had Janet Lee in the room waiting for him to kick his ass in pool, and they played $2,000 a game. I'm a pretty creative guy, you know.
Larry Flint, they showed up late for his brothers. They were going to pick up his brother. What his brother was? Is Tom his name? The brother's name?
I
Tom?
never dealt with the brother, and I was Larry's host for 20 years,
Really?
and great friend.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was one of the first calls when he unfortunately passed away, and I helped host his bachelor party. That's over a beer, not on the podcast to talk about.
Yeah.
But just great guy to me, and but I never dealt with Liz. When I first met Liz, she was his nurse, and now she's his wife.
Yeah.
Liz Flynn, and so he would always bring Alan, his lawyer, and a few bodyguards, and that was it. And at the Hilton, he would come literally almost every weekend for 6 years.
So he brings his brother.
Okay.
His brother is he. So I guess he would play $2 to $3 million, right? Is that what he had? One of the biggest credit lines at the.
And I'd let him bet. He liked to bet 315s, 45,000 a hand.
So
15.
His brother comes, and his brother, from my understanding, is a bit chaotic, and had this girlfriend who was maybe more chaotic. And Rio sent a limo to pick up the girlfriend, and apparently there was some kind of issue. It was in the papers, actually. Because some of the people at the Rio talked about it.
Well, him and his brother weren't close.
They weren't close?
No, just
No.
so you know.
Yeah.
At least maybe in your day, but not in my day.
Right, yeah. In my day. So they go to pick up this girl, and apparently she's either not there or she's having like this little nervous breakdown or whatever the case is. But ultimately they gave her a necklace. They comped her like this $100,000 necklace. It was pretty famous. It was actually in the paper. So one of the hosts or someone talked about it and got in trouble at the Rio. And we literally had a meeting after that saying, listen, you can't have these conversations with anybody. You can't talk about how we're accommodating our players, who's coming through the Rio at the time, because it would get out. I mean, we had Club Rio.
And so one of my first encounters with Larry, I finally get him over. It's a long story. I sent him a cookie basket every Monday for like 7 months. One time the cookie basket was late, and he called me and he goes, hey, where's my cookies? So anyway, I was doing the show with ABC 2020, and I had given Liz some $50,000 earrings, some stud earrings, because he'd lost a few million with me. And I said, Larry, do me 2 favors. One, you cannot tell anybody I give you a 20% discount on $1 million. I would do that. We would net him out every 90 days, so he'd only have to pay me $800,000. And you can't mention Liz's earrings. First thing in the interview, my host Steve Cyr, if I lose $1 million, he eats 20%. And look at the earrings he gave my wife.
Wow.
First thing he said.
So now you have a few more earring requests?
Yeah, a lot. And but not everyone got a discount.
No, I see.
Okay, and so then it really opened
Kerry
the
was
floodgates.
famously known for getting a discount, getting a
Yeah,
rebate.
but and again, I never personally dealt with him other than I was the host on duty when we had a singer named Christine W, Christine and the Steen, and he tipped her $200,000 because I was the host on duty that had to cash her out.
Wow.
So that really happened.
I know he bought someone a house. Kerry did, right? $150,000 mortgage he paid off.
That I'm
that
sure
true?
is true,
Yeah.
and I know that he flew Christine and all of them out to Australia just to play for his birthday.
Isn't that amazing?
And then
What about the Smith brothers? Did you ever have it? Because they were big Georges at Rio.
yeah.
One of them was
as,
batshit
You mean as
crazy.
in Smith's food?
The Smith's food, yeah.
I wasn't their host, but yeah.
But you heard about them?
Yeah.
Like literally, one of them crazy. Are they alive? Because they were doing so. One of them was doing. Okay, I don't want to say it, but let's just say heavily imbibing lots of different.
I never dealt with the Smiths, but I had to deal with what was the guy that started Jeopardy Wheel of Fortune? You know, he was the TV mogul guy.
That opened Players.
God, what is his name?
Merv Griffin.
No, not Merv Griffin, the gambler. He was a Hollywood guy.
Kojak.
No, not Tully Savalas. But Tully Savalas was Players Club. That was
He was.
that
Yeah, he was
Ed
Resorts.
Fishman.
He was the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, Players Club. Yeah. I got
Anyway,
to meet Merv Griffin years
he
ago.
started Jeopardy. Anyway,
Alex
he,
Trebek?
No. He peed in the corner in the Baccarat room.
Oh,
And I remember
God.
the shift boss called me and goes, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "Shuffle up and deal and call housekeeping." I go, betting
Wow.
50,000 a hand. Yeah.
Wow, we're just wet in here.
He was the biggest pig I remember, and
Really?
the villa.
Alex
and
has
stuff.
a few stories of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
was
there's a
bad.
lot of that. There's a lot of. I mean, I think people used to abuse that in Vegas. I've run into. I mean, the fact that Aria got away with his nonsense. It just makes
We
me
don't
think that-
tolerate. What I like is one good thing, because we have gotten more corporate, is you can cuss in the air and that, but you can't look at my dealer and call her a name.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah, no more.
You used to
No.
be able.
Yeah.
I mean,
It used to be bad.
dude, I've literally been punched on a game before.
No.
Yep, I did. I had a pit boss actually. I wouldn't say
Wait, the
aggressively.
customer punched you,
Nope.
or
I had a pit manager literally hit me in the side, dumping a lot of money, pissed off about my interaction with another player. Yep, that happened years ago.
did you punch him back?
I got off the game. I had words. I tried to speak to somebody, and eventually they were transferred out. They had issues, let's just say.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I worked
You
when I
should
worked
write a book.
downtown. I worked at the gate back when Sal Bruno. I don't know if
Okay.
you remember
No.
some of these people, but he was a crotchety. By the way, I love that guy because and he was what Vegas was to me. Old school, bald Italian dude. You know what I mean? But he was at the gate. I broke in at the Golden Gate in '91.
And Derek Stevens has done a great job with the gate. I
Just
like it.
fantastic.
They took out I used to love the pancakes and the Dupars or whatever
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
called. Do you
but
remember
yeah.
that? Yeah.
But before then there was just the cafe. Like we would get
Right, with the shrimp cocktail.
With the shrimp cocktail,
Right.
yeah, the 75 cents, or that was later than like 99 cents, whatever it was. But there was like no break room there. It was very small space. But it's amazing, by the way, what they have done with that, considering how small.
Have you seen that Derek displays now the ledgers from like 1912, and it would be like a dime game. Game open with $80,
Yeah.
closed with $83.20.
Oh,
the
really?
one $3.20
Yeah.
that day. He's got all the ledgers. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
I mean, and there, you got kicked in the heels. They were throwing pennies under the table. It was all this nonsense.
We
going
still
on.
do that,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
we
silliest
actually
thing.
did it the other day at Ellis Island.
Really?
Yeah.
At Ellis, they got pennies working?
No, I did it just because, and sometimes if I don't like a player, I will put his name on the back of my business card and put it in the freezer. I'll put him in the freezer. I still do that.
You're that
I'm
guy,
those-
dude?
Yeah, I know.
Oh
I'm
my
that guy.
God, what's
Shit.
going on? But I there was a casino I used to go to work at. You had a bird game working. Everybody be bent over, and you would literally look under the table to see how pissed off the boss was. You would, if you saw a pile of pennies, or anything really, salt, anything that was, you know what I mean. You
Yep.
knew you were in for a world of hurt. The game was dumping. He was going to be moving the dice. It was just going to be a really difficult day.
It's funny how I still work with people that think little subtle things will change it up.
Right? It's not a thing.
No, but there are dealers that I know if my player sits down, he's not winning. There are dealers that are to me, just house dealers.
Yeah.
There's a couple at Resort World where you just can't beat them.
Yeah, cleaners, dude. No, that's true. Yeah, 100%. Isn't that funny? Isn't that
I
weird?
mean, but it can't be. It just must be my timing. I mean, it's just that there's a few dealers where I'm just like, oh,
rigged.
don't. 'cause
Now
you can't
everybody's
win.
like rigged. It's not rigged. By
No,
the
the
way,
game's on the square.
can I say that Resorts World has come a long way since they opened?
I agree. I've
I
repped
mean,
there since the day they opened.
And when it first opened, we were there. I was impressed by the craps table having downtown odds, but some of the food choices a little bit pricey. But now, fantastic. Absolutely
And I
love the
like
place.
the Sky Lounge or the Sky Casino. It's
We
called.
we haven't been there, but
Oh, you haven't? Oh, it's really cool.
Breeza is one of our absolutely favorite restaurants. In fact, there's a dish there he loves more than anything else.
The rigatoni. It's great.
The slot machines, I've hit 2 hand pays. So not to say on Keno.
I like Red Tail. It's kind of the sports bar, but fun. Have you
Oh,
been there?
yeah.
It's in the mall part.
Yeah, I've seen
And
it.
we've
cool.
been we've been most of them. I've even been in that Japanese place, and I can't stand hand agitated kelp. I have no idea, but it was actually really good. And if you don't know what to order, and you go, it's got all this goofy stuff, and you can't figure out the menu, just tell them what you like, and they just hook you up. It
I'd
was
say
fantastic.
my favorite, just to hang out, probably is Cosmo.
Really?
Yeah, just because I like the barber shop and the live music.
The barber shop? That's
Though,
your go-to at
There's,
Cosmo?
there's a speakeasy that's
Wait
a
a
barber.
minute.
So there's a barber shop that you can wait and then.
Hey, get a haircut?
No,
No,
you go in and
there's
there's a
door
bar.
like that says janitor. You go through there and there's live music.
It's a speakeasy.
It's a great.
I'm like, dude, you're
you
showing
got to
up at
get
the
out
barber
more.
shop.
And what about Beauty in Essex?
He
That,
went
that
there.
looks like a pawn shop.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
great restaurant too. The pawn shop has a door. No, a barber shop is my go-to date night fun place. Yeah. I
Oh,
love
so it's like
barbershop.
one of these. I'm like, dude, who's
So like
getting
the
their haircut at
the
Cosmo?
front is
Yeah.
just a barber shop.
No, but
And
it's
then-
a real barber shop.
Yeah, no,
I
it
mean-
is.
I mean,
people are
yeah,
getting their
they're
haircut.
doing fades and everything, but
Ah.
there's a door, and they're not going to say anything. You walk in, and it says janitor, and you got to walk all through the barber shop. And then when you walk through that, like, wow, and
That's
the
fun.
bar and the stage.
I do want to let you
Chandelier
know. I
market.
know that you maybe had a hard out.
I do,
So
yeah.
Yeah, he does.
it
He gotta
is.
get out.
It
Oh,
is.
Yeah, he's got to
6:11 right now, but I do wanna
And
ask
that
you-
went quick.
That went
I
really
did wait
dude.
quick.
You got to come back.
I got
bro.
2 more questions for you.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know who asked them earlier, but number one, if they want you as a host, how do they get you as a host?
At Steve at stevecyr.com or at Steve Cyr Vegas. I try to really. I have a couple assistants that really help me, and I try to get to everybody.
Yeah.
And I will call you. It might be 2 a.m. Get me your phone number, and I'll call and we'll talk. And if I can't help you, I'll say, hey, I go to the Tropicana. I know hosts everywhere. I do meat market parties. There's 700 of us in town, and I know 200 to 300 of them, and I'm close with all of them.
We
So-
have a few people that are pretty high value that I think would be interested in talking
Look,
to you.
as long as you bet $25 to $50 a hand, I'm going to comp your room at Ellis Island, and we're going to have a beer together.
Fantastic.
I'm there 3-4 nights a week, and I love it there.
We got to have Steve back. He's got to go. He has a
Yeah.
call here soon, so he's got to get on the road.
I've picked my daughter up. She's flying
Yeah.
back from Jamaica.
And
Yes,
last
sir.
question is
Last
someone
question.
asked, how do you become a casino host?
Well, read well Hunt in the Desert. No, I was lucky. College helped place me, really. I
Yeah.
mean, my internship.
If you
I did
hadn't
all
failed
that.
so miserably at college, dude.
That-
You know what I
that-
mean?
That's exactly right.
That
That's
was
exactly right.
it.
No, and
What a
so
fantastic
obviously, we look for a lot of hosts now will come out of the booth or promotions or VIP. I used to be the young guy. Now I'm the older guy. Average host in town is 25 to 35. There used to be no female hosts. Now there's more females than men. There's 40 hosts at Cosmo, not
Oh, I
4,
believe it.
40.
Yeah, I
40.
believe it.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's probably 30 or 40, and that's not international hosts. And then you also have international hosts. But yeah, go on my website, stevecyr.com. I talk about it too. You can actually stevecyr.com is probably the best. It'll say I'm a player, or I want to consult with you, or help teach me. And click on one of those, and you can find me that way. It's stevecyr.com.
We want to give away one of these books.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so here, ready? We're just going to give away.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we'll pay the postage. We got you. All right, let's pick a...
Type whale in chat.
Type what?
Whale.
Whale. Type whale. Everybody wants to be a whale. I want to go out a whale, dude. 100%. Me and Dennis want to buy in big fat crap table buy-in and just work squeeze play and see what we can, get out of
Wait,
that.
what is there a question or I'm
No,
lost?
no. So
No.
we do a giveaway. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm telling them to type in the chat whale, and we're
They're
gonna
gonna
pick at
type it
random
in a minute.
who wins the book.
You're going to tell them to stop, pick a number, and then
Okay,
we're gonna pick
tell
a
me
winner.
when to.
It's gonna
Yeah.
take a second. They gotta.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're in a bit of a delay on YouTube.
My dream.
And if you're in town and that, depending on where I'm at, call me. And I love meeting people out. So I'm out literally 5-6 nights a week.
What are you doing Cinco de Mayo? We're having our D&D meetup. You busy?
I've got a player, and I'll probably be at Resorts World. But then let me know, because again, I'm
Later
I'm
on.
out all night. I don't go
going
to
to
work
Ellis.
usually till 9-10 o'clock at night.
We're gonna lock in Ellis.
So okay.
What's funny is she said, "You know what? We have a mariachi band. Is that going to be okay?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, that's going to be okay. It's Cinco de Mayo. Why would you have
And there's
anything
always
else?"
a big fight usually that weekend. So I love boxing. So I go to a
Oh,
lot
really?
of fights. Yeah. Usually
Alright.
Canelo fights.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if he
Really?
fights. Yeah.
yeah. All right, good. Yeah, I saw your little boxing thing. Your little box there, huh?
Yeah, I
Back in the
have a
day.
fight in July. Hope I need to
Wow,
lose 20
really?
pounds. But yeah,
Really?
fought at Brooklyn
How
Bowl.
old are you?
I
What's
fought on
going
Su-
on?
I'm the oldest Nevada amateur to ever be licensed.
Yeah, I
oldest
believe
to
that.
ever win.
I believe
yeah.
that.
Well,
All right, ready? Let's go.
David, tell me when to stop.
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 Okay, give me a number 1 through 10.
7. Lucky 7.
Okay, let's see. Lucky number 7 is Steven. I'm gonna butcher your last name.
Steven something.
Padilla. I'm gonna say Padilla. That's that. I butchered your name. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna type in an email in chat. Just email that email, and we'll send it out to you.
All right, guys. We're gonna also send.
Thank
a
you.
chip.
This was fun.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. You got to come back, man.
For sure.
We got to do the
Sure,
stories.
I
If we
love-
focus on the stories, they would love it. If I could have you here every week, I would. Be honest with you, they would love it. I mean, literally love it. Anyways, all right. Thank you guys very much. We love all of you. Thank you so much. We just had our first fan event. It was fantastic. Next fan event is D&D. If you're a Patreon only, we're going to be reserving a spot at Ellis. We might as well just put it out there. We've already started the conversation. So we're going to be hopefully upstairs. They have a nice little private area.
Yeah, the terrace.
The
terrace at the front yard. It's awesome.
Yep, we're going to unload. So I think we'll have a lot of fun. Me and Dennis are going to host, so it's going to eat, drink, and gamble, dude. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
And we have blackjack and slots inside the front yard and non-smoking, so it's nice.
We love it. All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
And fade to black.
All right, that's fun. Easy.